Good evening and welcome to everybody. Thank you for taking the time to join us tonight. So as you all probably are well aware, and I hope you are, we are going to be talking about holding physical gold SIPP pensions, and we'll have some information on storage as well. So we were established in 2009, and you can find us at bleyerbullion.co.uk, and our website is available 24/7. So we're here to help support you in making the best decisions when it comes to buying and selling bullion. And ultimately, we exist to demystify and make bullion investment more accessible for everybody. Check out our FIFO customer reviews if you're new to us. We've got a customer rating that never falls below 4.9 or 5, and we are 4 years in a row Platinum Trusted Service Award winners with FIFO as well. So we're very, very proud of our customer reviews. This information gives you real live information from customers that have experiences with us. So a little bit of housekeeping. So just the disclaimer before we start. So please note, precious metal prices may go down as well as up. Bleyer Limited, or Bleyer Bullion, accepts no responsibility for any losses based on information we have provided. We do not offer investment advice, but share our experience and knowledge for the purpose of raising awareness. It's up to you to do your own research and, if necessary, obtain professional advice before making an investment decision. So today we're going to be going through various bits of the pension process, and by the time we finish, you should have an overall understanding of pensions, SIPPs, and the rules governing them, a brief outline of the taxes that apply to pensions trustees, their role, and an overview of their relationship with you and us, an overview of storage and operating costs, the steps that are required to set up and run a gold pension, and then the question and answer session at the end. So to start, pension basics. What is a SIPP pension? So this is a self-invested personal pension, or broken down SIPP. It is a way of saving and investing for your retirement. It's a tax-efficient investment wrapper that is used to build a pension pot of money for the future. And it works in a very similar way to that of your company pension or your workplace pension, apart from that it's organised by you and not by an employer. So you're in complete control of it. The SIPP can be inherited by your beneficiaries, and your money should be protected if a SIPP provider goes bust. Popular investment options are physical gold, commercial property, shares, funds, and bonds.
So you can invest up to 100% of your salary, so it's your income. You can't put in more than your income, and the first £60,000 a year is generally tax-free. I think there are more rules around this for people who are putting in larger amounts. I'm not aware of them all, but your pension trustee will be able to talk to you about this side of things. So you can gain access to your money in a SIPP from 55, and usually you can remove 25% of that tax-free as a lump sum if you wish, with a maximum of 275,000. You can use salary sacrifice if you ask your employer, or it's your own company. The money can go in before it's paid to you as salary, and that way there's no national insurance on those contributions either, making it a bit more tax efficient. And then income drawn down from pensions is subject to income tax, so it gets treated just like all your other income when you get into drawdown, which is when the money goes back into your pocket. So the benefits of a pension are physical. It's a physical asset, and people like the idea that they have something that is physical, exists, and they know where it is. There are tax benefits, and that mean that you get more gold for your money. So you get the money that you put in plus the tax, either the tax that you would have paid on that money, or the tax that you've already paid gets paid back to you. It's recession proof. Gold tends to follow the inflation and do better than inflation. So hence the next bubble that we got there. It's good in a mixed portfolio because it behaves in a different way to the stock market and to property. And it can also be quite useful to, if you've got property and you want to reinvest some of your income from the property, you can buy gold on an incremental basis. You don't need to only invest in a lump sum when you're putting money in a pension. You can do it over a period of time. So it's fully allocated to your pension trustee, and it's held in high security vault that is guarded and fully insured. You'd be dealing with us as well as your pension trustee. I don't know that every company dealing with this sort of thing works in the way that we do, but we're quite happy to have conversations with you that run alongside the work that you do with your pension trustee, and we'll help you in terms of telling you what you need to do to make things move more quickly sometimes. Pension trustees can be quite slow. We've got a couple of, well, we basically work with any pension trustees, and you know, different pensions suit different people.
So opening your pension and how it all works as a partnership to provide your pension. So it all starts off with you as a customer. So you contact us with your inquiry for more information, you instruct parties as to what you wish to do, and you also fund the pension account. So it all starts with you. And from there, you have a trustee. So whether you use the one we recommend or you choose one yourself, the trustee will set up the wrapper, they will collect funds, and they will proceed with any investments and look after that for you. Us, Bleyer Bullion, will provide you with any guidance regarding the bullion that you're looking to hold in your SIPP. We will buy the bars upon instruction from the trustee. We also liaise very, very closely with a lot of our customers. We have a lot of conversations with you directly rather than third hand. So we can always tailor to make sure that you're buying to suit your needs. And then we send the bars to storage for you and furnish you with all the details, like Caroline said, of the bar numbers as and when they are required. So the ongoing pension management, again, the instruction comes from you as the customer, and you will manage the bill payments, and you may increase your investment over time. Some people start with their initial investment on a pension and then add to it as they go along. You may instruct portfolio changes, and you may request a drawdown as we go. Your trustee along the journey will be receiving any funds. They will reclaim taxes on your behalf, and they will manage tax on drawdown. And they will also raise and pay any bills. So any storage bills that are had for your account will go through to the trustee for payment by the trustee. During the journey, we will maintain your storage account. We will provide any valuations that are required, and we will communicate with both you and the trustee as required. So you have all-round support all the time while you have your SIPP pension in progress. So costs, these are obviously key when you're considering a pension, and what are the costs and what are the implications. So in a nutshell, there are 5 costs to consider. So you have your initial SIPP setup fee. you have your annual ongoing SIPP fees, you have storage costs, a vaulting fee, and any removal costs. So to keep it easy, we've given a live case study to give you a bit of an example of what you could be looking at. So based on an investment into a pension of £40,000, you would be looking at a basic rate tax rebate of £10,000, giving you a total available of £50,000. Your setup fee for your SIPP, at the moment, the company that we partner with has an offer on until the end of November. So the setup fee is reduced to £49 compared to the regular £95. So they've got a good offer on at the moment. But if you use another provider, you would obviously need to check out what their setup fees are. The annual SIPP fee with this company is £250. And the storage insertion fee is £50. So your total setup would be £349, and all of these fees are subject to VAT. So an average storage cost for this case study would be £300 plus VAT. General vaulting. So regardless of whether or not you're holding a gold SIPP pension, or if you're looking at just having personal storage yourself, it's all dealt with the same custodian. It's not treated any differently. Everything is fully allocated. The bars are inserted with all your customer details on there and information as to whether or not it is part of a pension or a SIPP, pension or storage. Not that that makes any difference at all, but it keeps everything clear and nice and tidy for you. So the rates and the fees that we charge and the vault charges us, exactly the same. It makes absolutely no difference because they're storing an item rather than a service. So our third-party storage is at an LBMA approved facility. It has 160-year history, coupled with state-of-the-art security, technology, and warehousing in the UK. We use them because they are professionals in what they do. They are the experts. So if you're going to have something done, then you need to be using the best, in our opinion. It's fully allocated storage. It is actual metal that goes into the storage with bar numbers. So it's not a paper exercise at all. So for those movements, there are fees for people moving things around physically. And there is the opportunity to purchase VAT-free storage on silver as well. There is no public access. We get asked quite a lot whether or not people can go and visit. There is no public access at all. This helps ensure the high security that there is there. So purchasing VAT-free for storage is only available on new purchases. So if you've got anything you've got already and you want to put it into storage and try and work around the tax system, it's not going to work. It's on new purchases only. And there is no VAT charge on the metal at the point of purchase, but VAT does apply to storage fees. So that does confuse customers sometimes when they say, I didn't think there was any VAT, but the storage fees are something completely separate and it is vatable. You have the option to take possession at any time. So you can take physical possession of anything that you've got in storage, or we are able to sell your metal from the storage for you without taking possession. So if you do decide to take possession of anything that you have stored VAT-free, then there will be VAT charged on the metal once you take possession of it. And we can store VAT-free silver, platinum, and palladium.
And there's no VAT on gold. I'll just add at this point.
Just in case you're not aware, there's no VAT on gold anyway. But there would be obviously on your storage fees. So storage pricing is on a sliding scale rate. So the more you store, the cheaper the rate becomes. And if anyone's interested, please reach out to the office, drop us an email. We can go through any of the information and the rates with you, but not to bog everyone down and sort of go through it all tonight. The sliding scale rate can go down as low as 0.5% plus VAT. And the entry levels, the minimum level to start storing with us is £5,000. Well, you could do below that, but you have to look at the efficiency on that. But £5,000, you're looking at £10 plus VAT per month per metal. So if you're storing gold and silver, you're looking at £20 per month. Your vaulting fee is £50 plus VAT plus per metal per movement in and out of your storage account. So this is a fee from the vault themselves. It's a physical job that they have to do. They physically take your physical metal and go and put it into a vault and make sure it's all safe for you. So because of that, there is a cost that incurs. So each time that you want to move anything in or out, then they will charge the £50 plus VAT. We do work with our customers and help out where we can to help reduce any of these costs, but obviously we have to make it sensible for everybody. So we do help where we possibly can. When you're inserting or removing, depending on how much you are inserting or removing, there may be delivery charges, but again, we limit those where we possibly can. But there are occasions that people want things done very, very quickly, which is fine. We can do it very quickly, but it may mean that it will incur a delivery charge just to move that metal to where it needs to be. So the next steps, if there's enough information that we've given you to stir a little bit of interest and you think, oh, this is something that I'd like to find a little bit more about, obviously we could go into a lot of detail now, but it's not always applicable. The idea is to give you enough information to make you think, okay, this is something that I'm really interested in looking at. So if it is something that's ticking the boxes, the first thing to do is to contact us. We do really informal one-to-ones. There's nothing really formal about it. It's an opportunity to discuss your situation and whether or not it's something that's recommended and what options there are available for you. So we always say in the initial period to reach out to us by phone, email, and open up the conversation, and we can help you from there. The second part is about selecting a trustee and opening a suitable account. So you're looking for somebody that is has the facility and is prepared to open up a gold SIPP account for you. If you would like to use the people we partner with, that's absolutely fine. If you choose your own trustee, absolutely fine as well. We will work with whoever you appoint. After that, you will need to fund your account, and then you will instruct the trustees regarding your intended purchase. And like I say, as you go through the process, particularly with us, we are there with you every step of the way, and we will tend to have conversations with you at the same time as you are funding your account, so we can have a look at what you're possibly looking to buy and give you the best information. You would instruct us regarding the bars you wish to hold, and then the trustees and Bleyer will act upon your instructions and manage your pension. Customer ID is required for storage accounts, and we don't like having to ask for this information because some people do find these the request quite intrusive and find it difficult to understand sometimes why we're asking for it. As I mentioned at the beginning of the webinar, our independent reviews that we have with FIFO provide our customers with valuable information about us as a business. It tells you who we are, how to get a feel of us, what our service is like, what our products like. It gives you that trust. But we don't have this when it comes to dealing with customers. And as a reputable business, we have to demonstrate a good know your customer policy. This gives the bank confidence that we're doing everything we can to prevent fraud. And I'm sure a lot of you will appreciate the type of business we're in. There is a lot of potential fraud out there. So we have to cover to make sure that we're protecting ourselves and our customers. So we therefore ask customers who are making substantial orders, particularly for the first time, to provide ID, which enables us to verify customer accounts. None of your details are ever passed on to a third party, and unless you move house, change your name, or something irregular happens with your account, it's highly unlikely that we'll be asking you to provide it again.
Just like to add to what Melissa said, that is that we do need to have a copy of your signature and your ID so that when you come to instruct us to take your bullion out of storage, we know exactly who we're dealing with. So we would, in those circumstances, need to have copies of, at least a piece of photo ID with the signature on it. So the ID that we ask is nothing more than what is normally required to open a bank account or something like that.
So now we get to open the floor for question and answers. So it's time to not hear us for a little minute or two. So please feel free to unmute yourself and ask away.
Kevin's asking, do you share our information with any governmental agencies? So do the government know who you are if I hold gold? I think that is what you probably mean to say. So we don't send anything out to any third parties. The only people who know are the storage company. They have a record of who's holding gold with us. So that if anything happened to us, you've got somewhere else you could go to. So that we do that as a precaution. But all it is your name, your name, your details. So you'd have to identify yourself and probably provide proof of purchase, and that way they would know that you were the right person. Feel free to call us and we can discuss this in more detail.
Neil has a question. He says, when accessing the pension, does the metal have to be liquidated into cash or can you take the physical metal? If so, will 25% of the metal be tax-free?
I've done this before for a client and the pension trustee was happy for me to do that. I've discussed that with the latest pension trustee that we've taken on. He said they don't normally do this, but then I guess there's perhaps not that many people, not that do, not as many people as, gold isn't as common as other things. And perhaps other bullion dealers aren't that flexible. So, he said, we can look at it. So I would think that's perfectly reasonable thing to do, would be to actually withdraw your physical 25% of your gold bars that you have. And that would then be valued at a rate, I guess, of what we would pay if you sold it. And that should form the amount.
Andrew's asking, who's the trustee company that we have a relationship with? Andrew, if you want to give the office a shout, we can discuss that with you and we can have a chat and go through our recommendations. So Pat's got a question here. So only bars in the SIPP? Yes, both silver and gold, please. Why no coins, just out of interest? So it is only gold, Pat, not silver. And Caroline will be able to give you the definitive answer on why coins are not bars.
Why bars are
The other way around. The other way around. Sorry.
There's just the rules. They say that you have to have, I don't know why. So it's the only metal is gold bars. So there are only certain things that you can put in a SIPP. Like you can't have residential property. You can't have silver. Why? I don't know. Why there's VAT on silver and not gold? I don't know. So there you are. So vault charges are the same. Yeah, for the pension, the charges are the same because your money goes into your pension pot. If you add to your pension pot new money that is eligible for tax rebates, then you can use that money to pay your fees because the money has to ultimately come from your pension pot to pay the fees. I don't believe you can pay the fees separately. I think it has to travel through the pension trustee. The trustees don't actually charge anything for transactions that happen during the course of the year. You only have to pay with the particular trustee that we've just started working with. It's a flat rate. Kevin is asking about gold ownership, that the confiscation in the 30s. I think what happened was gold was linked to the money supply. They've fixed that now by bringing in fiat currency. So you know, I don't know. We don't know what could possibly happen in the future. There are many things that could happen in the future. So if the government announced something, then we would have a response depending on what that was at the time. So without a crystal ball, I'm afraid I couldn't tell you. Bars are subject to capital gains tax, Simon says. So if sold, would be charged as normal, not in a pension. So inside the pension pot, they would be treated that, you're not charged any capital gains. You can make capital gains inside your pension tax-free. It's only when you draw down that the tax becomes taxable. If you took bars out of your pension as part of your tax-free lump sum or income, then the value would be crystallized at the time of extraction. And then he's also asked about inheritance tax. It would be whatever inheritance tax applies to pensions. So some of these questions are probably best double checked with the pension trustee, but as far as I can tell, that's right. Trudy is asking, can I transfer what I have in a stocks and shares SIPP into a gold SIPP? Yes, you can. Again, the pension trustee can help you with this, and if you want to give us a call, Trudy, I can talk to you a bit more about this in detail. The pension trustee can arrange to pull different pensions into one pot if that's what you want. It's not just one, they can do many, and sometimes it makes sense to amalgamate them. There are two types of SIPP that you can have. One that is specific to just gold, so it's which has a slightly lower, the £250 annual rate, and then for, I think it's about £500, you can have a SIPP pension that has different types of asset in. So you can have your gold, you can have stocks and shares, you can have residential property, but the fees for that's a bit higher.
Caroline, there is a question that's come in. Can you store other items in the same SIPP?
You can store stocks and shares and commercial property. You can't have residential property in the SIPP. So commercial property, yeah, and possibly other things too. But again, you'd have to ask the pension trustee. Yes, Mia, you can transfer from an existing SIPP.
Can you store personal gold or silver alongside SIPP, or do you need a different vault account?
You have to have a separate vault account because this account is with your the trustee. So it's not the same as being yours. I mean, it is yours, but it's at arm's length.
There's another question in from Neil. Is insurance included in the vaulting fee, or is it extra?
It's all included.
Caroline, under the SIPP, since the gold is held in bars physically, do you get then allocated bar numbers for audit purposes?
Yes, you do.
Yeah. So then if you do, I assume, something like an annual audit, then depending on what you've purchased, you've got those bar numbers written down, allocated to you. So when they do then an audit of the vault, they say, this is for this client, this is for the other client. then they can then independently sign off that it's all there, all in storage.
Yeah, exactly. I mean,
Perfect.
we can get a list from the vault, which will, anytime we like, of what we've told them basically to double check that that everything tallies up.
Perfect. Thanks, Caroline.
Andrew is asking, what is the smallest bar size that can be purchased to put in your SIPP?
Any size really, but we can talk to you about what's cost effective. Really teeny bars are not really worth buying for for investment. So 1 gram bars make nice gifts, but the markup on them is so high that it's they're it's not advised for something like this, but 10 grams, 20 grams, ounces, probably the smallest that it's worth doing. You've also got to bear in mind the overhead of £50 insertion fee. But when you're setting your you're putting your basket together of what you want to hold in your SIPP, we'll talk you through what's sensible, depending on how you plan to withdraw it.
Fabulous. We've got another question in from Trudy. In the event of death, would the HMRC be informed, thinking that in the form of coins, they aren't traceable as such?
When it comes to, if somebody dies, we deal with the executors of their will. So we don't get involved we don't do any reporting to the HMRC. We don't have a relationship with them like that. All we do is our tax returns like any other business. It doesn't include any client information whatsoever.
Storm was asking a question. I did type, but you might not have seen it, Storm. The minimum size for bars for storage, I'm guessing you're talking about general storage. There is no minimum. We can store anything you like, really. We can put a 1 ounce coin in there, but you have to question whether or not it's going to be economical for you. So the best thing to do is give us a shout, have a look at what you're looking at storing. We can go through the numbers with you, and then you can make an informed decision then based on what you'd be looking at to see whether or not it'd be economical for you. So I think that's the best way to look at that one. But we can store anything that you like. There's no minimum to pop in there. So I hope that answers that one for you.
Are there any particular gold products and sizes that we are required to buy for a SIPP? And if it was larger bars, would it be harder to liquidate if we needed to draw down? Good point. So you can buy any bar sizes you like, but if your gold is locked in a large bar and you only want to draw down a little bit, perhaps to pay some fees or to take a bit of income or to take your 25%, you might find it more difficult if you've got larger bars. You can have a mixture of sizes, you can have smaller bars. So, that's something we would go into with you when we have our one-to-one chats. Fidelity pension. Can I swap this for a gold SIPP pension? I'd say generally it's quite good to have a mixture of assets, and sometimes it makes more sense to keep the stocks in your, if you're going to have stocks, have them in your pension wrapper, have them in your ISA, rather than holding them outside of any of those tax efficient vehicles. And if you want something that's outside your pension, then the gold sovereigns, gold Britannias, are a really good way of having something that doesn't have any constraints over it. When you're comparing, the benefit of an ISA is that it's exempt from income tax, it's exempt from capital gains tax. But if you're holding, you have to put tax money in. If you're not worried about income from it and you're looking at something which is going to grow in value, then you're not losing anything by buying British legal tender coins. You get the same benefit that you would in an ISA. Depends. but generally it's good to have a little bit of something else. But not everyone would agree with that view. That's just my personal opinion. I just think it's generally sensible not to put all your eggs in one basket. And also sometimes it's handy to have a thing which pays out a dividend every so often. So you've got a bit of cash flow going on. And, you know, the thought of selling a piece of gold, although it's the same thing really, you're cashing in something, you're reducing what you physically have to liquidate some money. It's the same thing really, but sometimes mentally it's a bit nicer having interest or a dividend to spend. But, you know, I would advise everybody, whatever you've got, have a good look at it and make your advisors work for you. You know, ask them questions, find out how what you already have is performing for you. Maybe before you make changes, you know, how's it been doing? And, you know, do you really want to liquidate all of it and buy something else? Do you want to do some of it? There is a type of SIPP that one of our pension providers offers, and it's mixed. So you don't just have to have physical gold in it. You can have gold, you can have stocks, you can have property. So it doesn't only have to be one asset. And sometimes one might work well with the other. If you have commercial property that pays rents, you could use the rent money that comes in to buy gold, you know, or stocks, or, you know, there's a whole suite of different options available. Can you comment about the cost of selling gold formerly stored? Who finds the buyer? Well, we'll buy it back from you. So we'll buy the bars back. And we also often on our website, we have pre-owned bars. So you can put pre-owned bars, which are a little bit cheaper, into your pension too. As long as they're bars, they don't have to be brand new. So when you sell your bars, we'll pay the same as gold outside of the SIPP. There may be a cost for getting it back to us. We'll try and keep that down for you as much as we can, but it's not too bad really. It depends how much it is at any one time. In the event of possible government confiscation, could some be lost? If so, could this be protected by purchasing collectibles, which are not usually subject to confiscation? If yes, what is classed as a collectible in England? Okay, well, this would be outside of a pension. As far as what is collectible, and I think anything I'd like to have is collectible in my mind. So it might be, I really like the look of this bar. It's unique. It's got its own number. And I particularly like that number. So I don't know what is collectible. I think it's something that's open for interpretation.
I don't know a lot about it, but I've been, some of the Americans, for instance, will say pre-1933 coins are classed as collectibles and things like that. I just wondered if there's any sort of considered viewpoint over here, because the stuff I've seen is only been American, unfortunately.
Yeah. I mean, I think the chances of this happening, the circumstances are quite different now than they were in the 30s when there was a confiscation. And from what I've heard, nobody ever actually got prosecuted for not handing in their gold.
What is the level that you guys have to report when we're purchasing silver or gold?
Nothing. So, we don't report anything.
I thought it was 10,000 or something like that. Huh?
No, we ask for your ID, but we don't report anything.
Okay, that's good to know.
So we just ask you to send us a copy of your ID, passport, driving license, and proof of address. I've got some other questions here. Peter, can coins be in a SIPP? No, they have to be bars. Don't ask me why, I don't know. But who are the trustees? They can be any pension trustee. We use InvestStack lately. They've been very good. We've got Curtis Banks, but they're not very flexible, and they want you to use an IFA, and opening a new account has been difficult. So InvestStack, we find they're very cheap or cost effective. Their fees seem reasonable, and they've been nice to deal with so far. But we'll work with anybody who is, who can create a pension trust for you. We'll work with any trustee. It doesn't even have to be a government pension. So it could be a trust outside of a pension. But if you're reclaiming tax, then it would need to be someone who was accredited, I guess. So Grace is asking, collectibles are a bit, she's saying collectibles are a bit hit and miss. Something that is collectible today may go out of fashion. Some collectibles can look so real and yet can be fake. One needs quite a bit of professional guidance to buy collectibles. Yes, good point, Grace. There are a lot of rogue companies, and I call them rogues because they sell coins mostly to people who can't really, they're not really wealthy investors, because they offer to sell them in installments. And they're usually well over the spot price, could be 50% or more over the spot price of gold you'll be paying for the fabrication of this coin that might be limited edition of 50, 100, commemorating the Red Arrows, commemorating all kinds of memorabilia, different royal events. If you're going to buy collectibles, I'd probably stick to the ones that are from the Royal Mint. They're the most desirable, but all of them are way over the price of straight bullion when you buy them new. If you're interested in them, we do sell them on our website at much reduced rates on the secondary market. So yeah, just because someone tells you something is collectible doesn't make it collectible, because if you can't find someone to buy it, then it doesn't have that value. Any more questions?
Just a comment. I think the point of collectibles, like from our American friends, is that if there is ever a confiscation, which I think there's been about 3 in the States so far, but as you say, I think the issue is that no one's probably going to report you or knows that you got the gold. But apart from that, I think the point is that collectibles will sort of become stand out from the crowd, because short of selling your gold on the black market when it's meant to be confiscated, collectibles do have a premium, but they will maintain that premium, possibly even go up in price.
Yeah,
I think that's the kind of the argument for them.
and also it's something you probably bought because you like it. It's like a piece of jewelry. So it was not fair for someone to take that away from you, is it?
No, that's why, I mean, a lot of rich people, when they do proper collectibles, not 150% over spot price. Some of these, are like ridiculous amount over spot price, so they do become on their own.
Yeah, or Picasso's or something like that.
Yeah, well, about gold at the moment, but yes.
Yeah. Second-hand bullion. Why is there a price difference? Okay, the price difference is because we're a retailer. When we buy gold from members of the public, we pay below spot price. But we pay the market price what other dealers are offering with. So we're very competitive and we often offer a better deal. When we have to buy brand new, we have to pay a premium which is over the spot plus. So the spot price, market price, plus a premium, which includes the manufacturer's costs, the wholesaler's costs, all the postal costs, and then we need to make a bit of profit to pay our staff. And so when we buy pre-owned, because it costs us less, we charge less when we sell it. So that's why it's cheaper. It doesn't get the pre-owned gold. There's it's very often in as good condition as brand new.
Got one more question, please. You said earlier that you obviously you'll purchase back silver and gold. And again, what sort of price differential is that typically as well?
Okay, so depends what it is. So for silver, we're often paying 100% of the spot price. For gold Britannia's sovereigns, 98%. Sometimes we can pay a little bit more. It depends on stock levels. Bars, kilo bars are more difficult for us to sell. If it's a gold kilo bar, so we're likely to have to sell that on to back to another dealer. So the most that we can really pay for that's about 96%. But it depends. It's kind of around that range.
Yeah.
Try to make it fair for everybody, but we've got to make a little bit on every deal.
Brilliant, thank you. Are there any other questions before we wrap up for the evening? Does anyone have anything that they want to ask? If you don't want to ask any questions, because I know some of this can be quite personal as well, then obviously just reach out to the office. We're open Monday to Friday, 9 till 5:30. Apart from bank holidays, we're having Monday off. Caroline's letting us have Monday off, which is like really good. So it's good. Yeah, yay, Storm, yay. It's a long weekend and I hope we all get to enjoy it. But yeah, we'll be back in from 9 o'clock tomorrow. Pick up the phone, give us a call. Most of you know we don't bite. We're quite friendly. Or ping us an email at overnight tonight while it's fresh in your mind and you just want to ask that question. Just send it over to sales@bleyer.co.uk.
Yeah, so thank you for listening, and if we'll be sending out a recording or link to our recording once it's up. And if you're watching this back on YouTube, then please give us a thumbs up and feel free to share.
Caroline, you've got another slide, I think, with the offer.
Oh, yes. We have an offer for you.
Yes, for your patience and for joining us tonight. And just as a thank you, so there was a thank you for joining us tonight and our contact details are on there. But for anyone that has joined us tonight or is watching this presentation, then we'd like to reward you with a free vaulting insertion fee. So that's worth £50 plus VAT, and that's on any new pension gold that's inserted into our vault by the end of November 2025. So we're going to match the terms of the offer of our SIPP provider, because it keeps the dates nice and simple for everybody. So you get, not only do you get the reduced fee by the SIPP provider, but we would also waive your first insertion fee on any new pension gold being inserted before end of November. But to qualify on this, because there's probably going to be so many people take up this offer when it goes out, we can't keep track of everybody that has watched or is looking at this presentation. So you must tell us when you come through to place your order or look at your pension that you've seen this webinar and that you'd like to take advantage of this offer. It is restricted to one free vaulting fee per customer. So unfortunately, we can't do it unlimited, but hopefully that's enough of a little thank you for your time for tonight. And we really appreciate you being here.